All right, episode 40 of KC Grid Talk is officially live. I know we're late by 5 minutes, but we're here and we're excited for what's going to be a great weekend of racing this weekend at the Rotax Winter Trophy to see who's going to get the ticket to go out to the Rotax Grand Finals. But firstly, introducing my wonderful co-hosts Alexander Searle and Emery Lyda. Fellas, long break. It's been about a week and a half. We saw it all. A couple of sad college football playoffs, a sad ending for me at least. But for you guys, hopefully you guys had a good week. What were you guys kind of getting into this week?
Lots of NFL playoff games, lots of college basketball, a little bit of schoolwork, more schoolwork than you might think. And it's been a good couple weeks. I know it wasn't a good Monday night for you, Caleb. I know that you probably would have loved to have seen a different outcome in the
Yeah.
college football playoff. But hey, next year's Texas A&M's year. I don't know if it's Notre Dame's year, but it's always A&M's
Yeah.
year. So
Yeah, we
that's
have I guess I have two teams that I kind of root for. Obviously A&M because I go here. But Notre Dame obviously
yeah.
holds a very special place in my heart,
Oh,
just like you guys do.
oh, and the Texans lost too. So
Yeah,
difficult,
bad weekend. Bad weekend.
difficult weekend for Caleb.
Yeah, bad weekend. But it's okay. I'm kind of getting flashbacks right now.
First
But
of all, I disagree with you guys. It's UF's year next year. All right,
all
we
right.
we, we got a squad. I promise you that. I'm with you guys. Football and school. That's what it's that's what it's been. That's what it's been all week for me. Getting ready to rock and roll and go to the Rolex tomorrow in Daytona. So I'll still see you, Caleb. I'll be kind of rooming with you guys. I think a little
Yeah.
bit this weekend in Orlando, but making the trek back and forth every day because hotels in Daytona. For anybody watching who's in Daytona, they probably know how expensive it is right now. So anytime I can save a little bit of money, I can always try to do that. But yeah, Rolex this year and then or this weekend, and then we got back to back Orlando's for myself going rounds 3 and 4 Rotax and then Scusa. But I won't be there rounds 1 and 2.
Yeah, some a couple of Orlando weeks with some Disney sprinkled in the middle.
For sure,
That'll
for
be
sure.
fun.
Y'all
So
are
save all
lucky.
the money you can, because Alex, get ready to learn Star Wars, buddy. We're gonna go to Planet Hollywood, hopefully, and maybe some Animal Kingdom. Uh,
Absolutely.
just
Hey,
select
Ryan
a little.
Norberg, if you're watching, all right, our resident
Hey,
Disney, expert, please tell us the best places to go and where to spend and not spend our money at Disney.
yeah, Ryan's a big Disney guy, so he will have to let us know. But I guess letting you guys know a little bit of what's going on this week in the karting community. Welcome back to Setting the Grid. A couple of news coming out today. I actually saw this about a month ago. The new KR fairings, and I said, spoiler alert, it has a hole in it, just like every other kind of new thing does. But this kind of aligns with one of our sponsors, DPK Americas. And I will say this thing is a thing of beauty. I won't
Amazing.
lie. Looking at this livery from DPK Racing and FA Kart, this is actually one of the coolest, I think, liveries that we've seen. Again, one of our sponsors is DPK Americas. If you guys want to be on this thing, obviously contact them and you'll see where in our commercial later on today. But fellas, the thing that I guess gets my attention here the most is obviously it has a hole in the middle, but it looks like it has 3 vents as well, with 2 holes on the top and the sides of the fairing where I guess air kind of flows through as well. Obviously, we saw the evolution of the KG, the OTK fairings. Now we're seeing the KR fairings also show a little bit. Thoughts on this? I guess, Emery, we'll start with you here.
I just love the color of the livery, to be honest. The sticker set looks absolutely phenomenal. Big fan of that. As far as the nose goes, I mean, it's not too much of a difference from some of the traditional fairings we've seen in the last few years with the scoop being kind of introduced and brought forward. I do think the 3 vents will help with airflow. It kind of takes a hybrid of the scoop approach as well as the kind of hot dog tunnel based approach where you kind of fill funnel air inwards a little bit. But as far as the actual effectiveness of it, I mean, we're all talking real marginal gains here. At the end of the day, still go-karting. There is going to be aero wash, little bits of it on high speed. I do think it's not entirely a myth, but I mean, for all intents and purposes, I think this is a very marginal difference from most of the fairings you'll see, especially with what OTK's brought in with their 2025 package. And what I'm sure a lot of the other manufacturers have brought in as well. So cool concept. Absolutely love the sticker set. I think the fairing, I will say I kind of like the kind of step design as well. But as far as the actual effectiveness of it goes, I mean, I'm sure that they've done the numbers on it. They've done testing, but I'm not sure it's much of a difference, quite honestly.
Yeah,
Alex,
I agree. I think, well, first of all, I think it's if there was an award for livery of the year, this has to be the front runner. It is
bang.
it is so good looking as a go-kart. Um, as far as the Aero goes, I mean, like Emery said, it's not too different to what we've seen, the likes of Burrell do, and then OTK have kind of done their own thing with the front fairing, but it's a similar concept to what Burrell's done, and like CRG, but it's different, and that's always cool. It's cool to see something different. Um, I'll be curious to see. I would love to see at some point a graph of the airflow and the actual pros and cons of it all, because there has to be some sort of obviously there's research behind it of this development they've got as far as FA kart goes. They feel like this was the way to go. I would love to see some sort of wind tunnel testing that they've done or just on track testing that they've done to see the difference. Because I find that me personally, I'm big on that type of stuff. That's why, as far as like an F1 or an IndyCar fan with huge wings, big aero, it's cool to see development. Um, but it's not too different from what we've seen from years past, besides literally just the nose cone, right? And there's probably a couple of other internal things that are different as well. But just visually from the outside, from what I can see, the nose cone is the only real big difference. But it's a big difference, right? And obviously, it's a big hole compared to like what we've seen from like Burrell do, and obviously OTK, like I mentioned earlier, have the lines in front of on the nose cone instead of opting for the hole on the nose. So again, I'll be curious to see how it works, and I honestly just cannot wait to see it on track because again, livery of the year as far as January 23rd goes.
Yeah, yeah, it's alright. No, I'm playing. It's honestly really cool. The whole technology of it as well. I think it's something cool to see. We obviously haven't seen it in the States yet. Actually, that's a lie. I stand corrected. One of the J Howard development drivers actually had this front fairing, I believe, 2 weeks ago. But yeah, I mean, I agree with Alex here. You're gonna have to see, I guess, how all this stuff really plays out, how it, I guess, moves us forward or backwards. You never know. I guess what we do, right? We haven't seen the racing kind of play out with all these new fairings, but we'll see how it kind of, I guess, all sets out. So that was pretty much all we have for setting the grid. Sadly, boys, this weekend I'm gonna be alone at the Rotax Winter Trophy. Our guest, though, is going to be joining me at Rotax. He's back in the seat. And I guess a little thing to say about our guest, this guy's probably the most American, I should say most Americanized driver I think that we have in the States this year. This guy's dream is to be in NASCAR one day, and he already has, I guess, I guess not a foot in the door, but he's knocking on the door to kind of get in there. Was at the Chili Bowl Nationals last weekend where Kyle Larson won. But Brandon Carr, welcome to the show. Firstly, how have you been? We haven't seen you in a while. You obviously missed the Supernats, unfortunately. I know HM Propelli couldn't make it out there, but you're back here this weekend, back in a go-kart, I guess. How has it been your first, I guess, little bit of go-kart racing in quite some time?
Yeah, definitely. It's been a while since I've been in a go-kart. I think about 6 months maybe, but it felt normal, felt like back at home really. So not too much of a difference, not too long out the seat. So
Let's get in. I guess walk us through how kind of the Chili Bowl went for you this past weekend. I know you spent about 2 weeks, I think, in Tulsa, out there with the Flow Racing guys.
yeah, it was good. Chili Ball was just such a different experience. I've never been before just to watch or anything, so it was my first time going, seeing everything, and yeah, I was there for 2 weeks. I did the Tulsa shootout the week before, and then the Chili Ball the week after. So it helped doing the shootout the week before just to see the building, see the track, see everything, all the layout and everything. So that definitely helped with like the nerves maybe for Chili Ball, but yeah, it was just so different from anything else I've been to or raced at.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie here. I'm obviously not the most experienced with dirt oval racing. out of my expertise. I know these boys obviously know a little bit more than I do, so I'm going to hand it off to them. But I guess my last question before I hand it off to them: how'd you like the boot cut suits? Was that, I guess, is that better than the normal style that we use in karting? Obviously, like boot cut stuff. I'm from Texas. You're not, but how'd you like it?
I like it. I once a couple of years ago I had a go-kart suit made like that, and I prefer it honestly.
Nice.
Boot cut's cool. I mean, I think for me, I've always been like, OG. I want, I'm kind of weird. Like I'm always the guy that has like maybe the one size too small suit, low key, and like maybe like my ankle showing. And it's probably not good. But my first two suits were boot cut, and I think I don't know. There's pros and cons to it. But for me, I'm big. I'm actually Rob Hallen will probably disagree with me on this because I know he's a big guy. He's big on wearing a karting suit in karting. I was always wear the car suit in karting, which
Bad boy.
yeah, you're
Bad
probably not
boy.
supposed to do that, but
He
that was.
wants you kicked out of the facility for that, man.
I'm sorry, Rob, if you're listening to this, because I know how you feel about that when Danny was wearing it in Orlando last week, or 2 weeks ago. But that was me. I was always like opposite of everybody else. I'm a weirdo, I guess.
Boots at Pro Tour.
Oh, 100%.
Round one.
100%.
one.
I'm trying to get some boots for TSRS. So Riley, if you know any places, bro, you gotta let me know.
We're coming to my side of town.
Oh, I
Yeah.
forgot. See, I don't know Texas, man. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know where I'm going.
It's all
Um,
Texas, man.
Yeah, it's all the same thing. It's all the same thing over there. I'm sorry,
Oh,
Caleb.
man.
Brandon, okay, I wanna actually talk to you about Chili Bowl some more. How would you kind of, for somebody who maybe wouldn't know a lot about dirt racing, oval racing, kind of describe it to somebody in karting right now who's looking to make that next step to cars?
It's a lot different to what people think, because it's people just say it's just turn left, but it's not. It's a lot more complex than that, and you've got to like understand how it all works. Because I struggled with that. Well, I still do struggle how to use both throttle and brake at the same time, double pedal. So karting is just you're either on the gas or you're on the brake, whereas dirt and most things, like even late models, you have to be on both pedals at the same time just to keep it all under control. So that was a big thing that I struggled with to start with, and finally starting to get a little bit of the hang of it. But yeah, it's a lot more technical to drive, like to pass someone. If everyone's on the bottom, you've got to try and make the top work, or if they're on the top, you've got to try and stay down on the cushion, on the berm. But yeah, it's just so different in so many different ways. But at the same time, like it's how to control the car. Like you have to get it sideways, but you don't want to loop it round on you, and you want to just be able to put the car wherever you want to put it, really. So middle of the track, bottom, top, bottom to top. So if you can kind of get the hang of that and feel it, you that's the first hardest bit done, really, in my opinion.
For me, as somebody I've never driven a dirt sprint midget, a sprint car, a midget car, any of those. For me, it always reminds me of like a rain race that's drying, or vice versa, a dry track that's getting rained on, and you're always trying to find the fastest line around the racetrack. I don't know if everyone in here has seen it, but I think, what was it, Tulsa Nationals, where Larson was riding the cushion the last 4 laps to try to catch
Yeah.
Christopher Bell. One of the coolest things I've ever seen. So I guess my question to you, Brandon, is like how much are you experimenting out there during a race? Is it every lap you're trying new stuff?
Yeah, you got to try things. You've got to find the darkest point of the track. So that's a bit different to karting, where if it's drying up and you want to find the lighter bit of the track, but in dirt you want to try and find the darker bit just to get that right rear on it so you can drive around the corner. And yeah, when you said with Larson, that was crazy. I was watching, and he could go wherever he needed to go, and he just understood the track to be fast. And he got a bit unlucky with run out of laps, but it was a good race.
Yeah, and I mean, you've been kind of at it for a little bit in terms of running Millbridge and kind of getting your feet wet in the dirt scene, but there was a good amount of time last year where it seemed like you were kind of prioritizing both in a sense. How difficult was it to go back and forth and kind of take what you had in a cart, then go straight on the middle of a week to run a dirt setup?
I got quite lucky and unlucky at the same time, because I only jumped in a dirt car in November last year. So when I knew I wasn't gonna be able to run Vegas, that was when I first jumped in a dirt car at Millbridge, and that was in a micro, and it was good. It wasn't as hard as I expected it, but I got lucky with Millbridge being so small and not as fast, but very technical because like you have to be bouncing off the wall. So I just worked my way up and got close enough to it, and then just tried to get in that rhythm. And from karting, getting in the rhythm, it definitely helped in that situation. But it's not too hard jumping between the both because everything's completely different. It's not like you use some bits here, some bits there. So I don't mind it really.
How
Yeah,
much how much experience do you have in regard to like the jump to cars? Because I'm a little bit unfamiliar. I'd say because I know you've gotten to the midget car, right, or the micro. You've done now the Chili Bowl, Tulsa. How much other car experience do you have? And if so, like, what's kind of your advice to somebody trying to make that jump up?
So I've in cars, I've done a few days testing in a late model. I did a race at Orange County. That was good. Completely different again. 100 lap race, no pit stops, and it was very warm in the car. So that was a lot different also. And in dirt, I've probably before I went to the shootout, I'd probably been in the micro 3 times,
Wow.
like 3 times and been in it. And that was the shootout was my first micro race. And then the midget, I did a race, a 1 day race, no testing at DeCoin, Chicago, just before Christmas, and then it was Chili Bowl.
Yeah. I guess taking it back a little bit because I remember speaking to you the week where I think you found out that you weren't going to make the Supernats, obviously for this past years. I guess how was that? I guess that kind of having to sit out on such a big event, and I guess how are you feeling now? I guess having done what you've done in the past 2 weeks, obviously competing at an event like the Chili Bowl Nationals, because honestly. Brandon, when I think about you, I remember the time we were watching the Knoxville Nationals out at MCC at the RV, and then now seeing you, I guess, race at the Chili Bowl was kind of a full circle thing because I remember seeing how excited you were watching the Knoxville Nationals and then seeing it all kind of come back around. I guess how was I guess the end of last year and the start of this year kind of been for you?
It's been crazy. That's the only word I can kind of put towards it is mid last year. I'd never been on dirt, never even thought of it. I thought about it, I wanted to do it, but I didn't expect it to come so fast. And then when I found out I wasn't being able to do Vegas because of what happened, we just decided let's have a go. Let's just go do a test day. And then it just kind of went on from there. Really, like I only found out it was possible to do Chili Bowl middle of December. So that was it. We was planning on doing shootout, and then we was like, oh, we might let's see if we can do Chili Bowl, and we got something sorted. And yeah, that's kind of how it went really. So I kind of got lucky and unlucky of not being able to do Vegas because I don't think this would have happened if I did Vegas. But at the moment in time, I was not too happy because I wanted to go to Vegas so much. Like watching Vegas, I only watched the pro main. That was the pro final. That was the only race I watched because I just couldn't watch it because I wanted to be there so bad. But yeah, if that is the pro of con of it, if I did it, I wouldn't have been able to do Chili Bowl. But if because I didn't do it, the opportunity came up.
How surreal was it to be at Chili Bowl and to be racing against guys that, in a lot of cases, have been running dirt races for quite a long time? I mean, the guys that are in the A, B, C, D mains are basically lifers in dirt, and you're basically 2 months into this journey. How crazy was that to kind of see the difference in experience and kind of get to be in the same building in the same races and kind of work through that experience?
It was. I thought it would be more hot, like it'd be more weird. But when you're out there and you're just driving, you don't know who anyone like you do know, but you don't think that oh, there's someone who's done it for many years and won plenty of races. Everyone's the same. You just drive everyone the same.
Did anybody come up to you and they're like, "Yo, You're British, bro. You're in the Chili Bowl. This is like so cool.
I spoke to a few people, just about like how is it, what do you think about it, and all stuff like that. But no, not really. It was probably one of the chillest races I've done in a while.
Really?
Like just my prelim testing on Sunday, 2 sessions. My prelim night was Monday, and then for the rest of the week till Saturday, I had nothing, so I could just get there late afternoon, just watch the racing, and then go back to the hotel. So there wasn't. It was a very long, spread out week, but it was very very relaxed and very chilled.
I feel like it's also more relaxed because you don't have either the three of us sticking microphones in your face after every time you get off the racetrack.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, if you missed us, you could just say so because we
Maybe a little
honestly miss you a little bit.
Maybe a little bit.
Dude, I actually just threw myself completely off. I forgot what I was about to ask you.
What a guy.
I'm gonna have to circle back here on the. Oh, got it. I was gonna ask. It's been a while, I think, since you've been back home. Obviously, you're from the UK. Your friends are over there, but you spent, I guess, a lot of 2024 and probably I don't know about the start of this year, but you spent a lot of time with the Ives last year. When was the last time I guess you were back in the UK, and how long you been here now? I guess doing all the racing.
So I went home. Um, I flew home. What was the last day of like the Vegas race, the Supernats?
The 17th. 17th.
So I probably flew home 5 days after that, and then I was at home for a bit, and then we decided we're going to DuQuoin in Chicago. So we flew out there, me and my mum, for 2 days, did the race, and then went back home for Christmas, and then we flew back on the 26th of December, and I've been here since.
Wow.
Well, welcome back.
Yeah.
And I guess at this point, it's been 2 years or so since you kind of came over to America. I won't say full time, but certainly a good amount of your time, a good amount of the racing time that you spend is over here. How different has it been over these last 2 years from what you anticipated when you first came over full time?
It's had its ups and downs, especially being away from family, from friends, but at the same time, I like it here, and I don't really plan on going home for a big chunk of time, really. So I go home when I haven't really got a lot on, just to see family and friends, and want to get myself back here. So if the opportunities do come up, I'm always here to take them, or take them as best I can.
All right, let's talk some go-karts here because like we're a go-kart podcast. So let's talk go-karts. All right. Yeah, you said first time back in the kart, 6 months. First of all, that's crazy to even think about. You said you kind of took to it like a duck to water, which we expect. You're Brandon Carr. What can we expect from you this weekend? Rotax, I know it's a slip and slide out there so far in Orlando, but what can we expect from you?
Well, I'm expecting just to be straight back at the front of the field and going out there for the win. So that's what my aim is, and I won't be best pleased if I can't perform up to that. And we've been testing the last couple of days, and we seem fast in DD2, we seem fast in senior. So it's just going to be just another race weekend like we've done it for the last 5 weekends in a row.
How much DD2 experience do you have?
I've done 2 races in Canada in DD2, and that's about it.
Was that last year?
Yeah.
Okay. What do you have you driven a shifter before?
No, I haven't driven a shifter. I want to drive
Oh.
a shifter, but I haven't.
What do you think of the DD2? I've had the chance to drive it a couple of times, and it's different for me from anything that I've driven. I've driven pretty much every single engine package possible, and that's like the one that's always weirdly thrown my brain for a loop because it's just 2 gears.
The first time I got in it, I was a bit up and down on the gears, like just trying to get the feeling of the gears, which corners to stay in second, which corners to come back down to first. But now I don't know, this morning when I went back out in it, it just felt normal. Apart from here in Orlando, because of the curbs, it's made it a bit hard because with the axle going through the engine, it's very stiff.
Mm-hmm.
But apart from that, I like the front brakes. It slows down fast, but just got to get the balance right of too much front brake, too much rear. So I'm still learning that part of it and learning how the car, how changing something on the car changes it, because it's a little different. But apart from that, it's good.
How different is it to run a DD2 with front brakes in the rain compared to a senior kind of traditional uh, single speed chassis?
Um, in the rain, you just got to make sure you set the brakes to how each driver likes it, really. So um, it's a little different with the two gears with the wheel spin, but there's not too much of a difference. But if you have too much front brake, it makes it hard work.
All right, we actually just had a really good question come in by Nathan Roberts. Brandon, if you win the ticket, will you be Team USA or Team UK? And obviously, you're running with the HM guys, so I'll add, or Team Canada.
I'm not really too fussed. I'll take whatever
All of
which
the
one
above.
available. But I don't know. I'd have to see on that one because yeah, I am still British, but I've been racing in America for the last 2 years, trying to just get the racing, and more people from England seem to be coming over. Especially, I've seen a lot more normal faces from home come over this weekend. So that I just have to decide later on that one.
I guess, have you seen some of the older guys? I think like Caden. I don't know who else is going to be here this next weekend, but I know a couple of the guys are here. Those are guys I guess they're used to seeing probably at the British Kart Masters when you were younger. Henry Baudet still says you have the greatest drive of all time at British Kart Masters from last to first. But yeah, how's it been? I guess seeing those guys here in the States.
It was nice to see them. I haven't seen them in a while because I've been so busy. And when I do go back home, I don't go back to the track because I'm not home long enough, or just something comes up. Always busy when I go back home. So it was nice to see everybody again and just have a little conversations here and there.
I want to know. Because we've started the show with Aero Talk and karting. Have you had a chance to think about it, look at it, and kind of what's your take on this year's kind of approach to the different aero kits that we're seeing from manufacturers and chassis?
I feel like some of them are a bit extreme. It's still go-karting at the end of the day. We're not in formula cars. We're not going 120 mile an hour down the straight on a long straight into a fast corner. So some of them are a bit over the top, but some are good. And it does. I feel like I've had a few times where it does play into conception, and but I still I just think it's overcomplicated a little bit.
In your limited time in a kart, this year, have you noticed a difference from last year at all? Aero
I
wise?
haven't tried the new one for
Yeah,
this year
yeah.
Okay.
yet.
So that's exactly what I was gonna say. And plus, you've driven, I think, in the drive. I think the only guys who are actually obviously the OTKs, or everybody who's on an OTK, I think,
The
is mostly on the
barrels.
new stuff, and the guys on the Burrell stuff is good. I know a couple of the other teams haven't yet, I guess, gotten some of the new stuff, so they're kind of waiting for that. But I think when we have the KRs, and obviously going to I think a different track may even help a little bit.
Yeah,
Than
I feel
probably
like
Orlando too.
Orlando's not gonna. It's not gonna change much at Orlando. Maybe if we go to Indy or an old track like
Trackhouse.
NOLA, or maybe even Trackhouse with a turn three before the
Mhm.
bowl. But yeah, it's not gonna affect the small, tight, twisty tracks.
Yeah, well, we saw how it was, I guess, last year at Trackhouse for the final round of Stars on the OKN package. Obviously, the class that you became a champion in here, Brandon. But you saw how hard it was for kind of Diego to make the move on Paulie in that main event, and how hard it was for Paulie to make the move on Diego in the first Pro Moto. So I don't know honestly about all the new stuff. Me personally, I think it looks nice. Don't get me wrong, but yeah, it's just we have to see it kind of race first until I'm gonna talk much about it. But
From
besides that,
from what
yeah,
we've
they're
seen
kind of
so
cool looking.
far, I don't think it's caused a whole lot of difference. But obviously, at a track like Orlando, you're not going to see that. for me, I think the biggest tracks, like Brandon mentioned, Newcastle was where we're going to see if it works or not, and if it causes more or less aero wash or stays the same. And then I think Trackhouse, another one, and then just longer tracks, right? So even Speed Sports might even showcase some of it as long as everyone gets the fairings by then. So I'll be curious. But I think for me, I am most intrigued about this fairing. This looks the most complex, in my opinion, of all the nose cone fairings that I've seen. I don't know how you guys feel about it, but we talked about it earlier. But I think it's the most complex one.
It's definitely the Burrow.
To me, it's the most hybrid approach that we've seen someone take, because they kind of take in the scoop account that you see with Burrell, or what you saw from the previous iteration of like the CRG front fairing, and you add in kind of more sort of airflow elements with the fins, kind of, in my opinion at least, as well as with the kind of step that they have, as opposed to just like a divot. To me, I think that this fairing, you're right, it's unique in the element. I don't know how it would have tested out, and again, I'm actually curious to see if Brandon knows anything about kind of the extensiveness of what they would do to test kind of between the different fairings or whatnot, because I've heard different things on it, but I don't know. I think the jury's still going to be out on it.
Brandon,
I tested a few things with when I was on OTK from the old style to the last year's style. I felt like it did change a little bit. For me, like I felt like it changed a little bit, but that was at a long track. Like I think I tried it at Valencia, so a long fast track, and I felt like it helped a little bit. But at the end of the day, it didn't change everything. It maybe a 10/5 that, and that was if that was right behind someone. If you're out front, out on your own, it doesn't really change much to drive. But I would like to see, like you guys said earlier, I would like to see if put it in a wind tunnel or something like that to see if it does actually change something and how it affects the air.
The funniest thing to me is that you ask any of these guys, yeah, like, yo, how was it? How was the new fairing? Like, it literally felt the exact same. I think me and Alex were down on pit lane for the Supernats. This is when everybody's debuting the new stuff, and me and Alex are like, yo, like how was the new fairing? It's like felt just like the last one. So I don't know, but Emery, go ahead.
I was gonna say, if everyone has it, then no one really has it when you think about it. It's like anything. You bring in a new iteration. For example, back when Tony Kart brought in the hot dog style nose 7 years ago, and for maybe like 1-2 races, yeah, there's a difference. You look up 5-6 months down the line, a full cycle of go-karts have been sold, and between the OTK, the KR, the Burrell, pretty much everyone has their new iteration of bodywork in. Everyone's found their half a tenth to a tenth incremental improvement, and now suddenly all the customers, all the factory drivers, at least on the fairing side of things, on the bodywork side, are kind of back to square one.
Yeah, definitely. Like I feel like if for it to make the big difference, the big change is you've got to always be changing so that you're different to everybody else. So when you have a full year of everyone using it, it just goes back to square one where everybody's the same in the same boat. So if like teams or manufacturers start changing it per race or per every other race, so everyone's different, it might change effects to it. But at the end of the day, it's not. We're not going that fast that I feel like it'll affect it massively.
Yeah, I guess maybe bringing it for the one-off events at the end of the year, because that's one of the things I guess that karting has, where whether it be on an international scale or on a US-centric scale, you're kind of looking at your biggest events stacked towards the last third to last quarter of the year. Maybe that could help on the factory front to give yourself a bit of a competitive edge. But you're right. I just think in general, and I want to hear Caleb and Alex, you guys' inputs on this as well. Like for me, it's kind of a zero-sum game for the chassis manufacturers. Like every single time they introduce new bodywork, they do it because the other competitors are doing the same thing. They find different approaches, but eventually they kind of converge up together. And then the competition ends up being the exact same over time. And so you really just make the aero more complex, make the sport a bit more complex, from a chassis to chassis, from a driver to driver standpoint, really doesn't end up making that much of a difference.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'll
I
let
mean,
Alex
it's
start. Yeah.
well, it's a homologation thing, right? So like we knew this was gonna like happen with the Aero. How complex it's gone compared to in years past, where you have your changes, you have your hot dog nose come in, or the different iterations of nose fairings that we've seen. This is by far the biggest leap towards Aero that we've seen in karting ever. And that's why we're talking about it more than we ever have in years past. Usually it's a one weekend conversation, cool, nose fairing. Next question. This is like, okay, we're actually trying some stuff here, and it's cool. I like it. My one contest to what you're saying is I think this is as different of an approach by chassis and manufacturers that I've seen. I think OTK's got a totally different approach than the rest of the guys. They're like, what, I don't want a hole in my nose. I'm just gonna go for a bunch of different lines and let's see if this works. Right? Burrell went, okay, hole in the nose. We're gonna have some out the rear bumpers. We're gonna make the air flow throughout the go-kart, see if that works, right? And then KR, they're going for kind of like Emery said, hybrid, right? So I'm intrigued. And I think that's my one contest to what you're saying about this might actually create a bit of parity in regard to just Aero, let alone everything else.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I just don't know, I guess, how to put it in a way. The Burrells I mean, the Burrells, I guess, make sense when it comes to, we actually have a video on this with Jordan Lennox from Supernats. That's a great watch if you want to go watch that. Something you don't want to miss. If you want to hear more about the KG kind of style fairings, the OTKs we didn't get much on from this year, but yeah, it's just something that I guess we're gonna have to see play out as well. Brandon, I guess last little bit here with you. We have 5 minutes left. We talked about all the serious stuff. We talked about the technical stuff with a couple of front fairings, but we're gonna play a little game here, just to have some fun. Last 5 minutes. I'm this or that. It's going to be stuff that you prefer either from the UK or from the US. We're going to start off with it could be anything. So to start this one off, food, UK or US food, and then your favorite dishes from both countries.
So my favorite overall is America. I like the food better here.
Big barbecue guy?
Favorite dish. Sorry?
Big barbecue guy? You like
Yeah.
barbecue? Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Steak, ribs, all that sort of stuff. That's probably my favorite. But from home,
Beans on toast.
it is good. But no, like just the traditional stuff from home that America doesn't have as much or is not as big is still good. But overall, it's just I prefer the food here.
All right, next up, I guess like sweet treats. In our company, a couple of these guys are pretty big on sweet treats. If you ask Brandon Simone, our Brandon, big sweet treat guy, needs one before going to bed every night. Do you like I guess UK sweet treats or do you prefer like the ones we have here?
Definitely at home, but I'm not a big sweet guy.
Shout out Mars bars.
I have no idea what that is.
It's a British
Mars bars
chocolate.
are pretty good.
British chocolate. They're so good.
Is Vegemite from the UK as well? Or where's that from? Where's Vegemite from?
Idea.
All right. This guy's not even British. He spent more time here in the US. I don't even know why I'm asking.
Dude, he's our resident American. What are you talking about?
Dude, I tell you, when I saw Brandon post, there's actually a video of you somewhere on a horse saying "yeehaw." Somebody showed it to me. It was Dalton.
Dalton.
It was Dalton.
I was in Texas.
Nice. What? Wait, what part?
Fort Worth.
Oh, you went to the stockyards, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's pretty cool. Not a big Dallas fan myself. I won't lie.
It was good.
I won't lie. Do you have a favorite NFL team?
I don't mind the Chiefs, but I'm not that big into it. Like, I watch it, I understand it, but
Brandon
don't follow
Carr.
it.
Brandon Carr, ball knower, confirmed.
Nah, this guy loves referees,
People are saying
just like Emery. That's all I'm gonna say. We're not a football podcast.
this guy loves losers.
All right. Well, Brandon, I guess last little 2 minutes that we have you on the show, this is your chance to promote yourself, what you have coming up, what you got going on in your life. It could be anything. Just, I guess, floor is all yours, man.
I'll be honest with you, I don't have a lot coming up. Well, confirmed anyway. So we'll just have to see what happens, really. So I hopefully want to try do a bit of late model racing in the cars tour, a bit more dirt, and then the occasional kart races when it's available. So nothing's set in stone yet at the moment. So we'll just have to keep going month by month.
Hey, month by month, day by day, Brandon Carr is my favorite. What can I say? Round of applause for Brandon Carr. Round of applause for my rhyme. Anyways, Brandon, I'll be seeing you this weekend. Best of luck, man. Thank you for joining us tonight. And yeah, I'll see you, I think, Saturday morning, bright and early. Sticking a microphone in your face as many times as I can. Hopefully Saturday and Sunday. But yeah.
Thank you.
See you out this weekend and best of luck, man. Yeah, no, for sure. Well, there you guys have it from Brandon Carr joining us tonight. Honestly, kind of disappointed. He's a big Chiefs guy. Obviously, last week didn't go as
That's
planned.
valid.
But I'm not going to talk too much about it. I'll be watching the Pat McAfee show. Well, actually, he talked about it already, but can I say? What can I say? But
All these people and their big conspiracies. You know what's not a big conspiracy, Caleb? Giving up eight sacks, missing 2 field goals.
Dude, the Texans were literally playing with guys from their practice squad. Like,
Welcome to the Chiefs basically the entire year.
lost Tank Dell, lost a couple of other guys, and Emery, in fact, is a
I just-
bandwagoner.
I just want to put this out there, Riley. If you look up Patrick Mahomes highlights, college highlights,
Dude.
you will
This
see
is
my
true.
video
This is true.
from February of 2017. 3 years worth of highlights. Watched most every college game, most every NFL game in Mahomes. I think I deserve to be a
Bang.
bandwagon.
All right, boys. I think it's
Crazy.
time for a commercial break, though.
Yes,
That's what I think it's time
yes.
for.
We have a lot of great sponsors that we haven't seen today, but we'll see them now. We'll be right back.
Are you looking to take the next step in your racing journey? Well, look no further than PitFit.
With 2 locations in Charlotte, North Carolina, and Indianapolis, Indiana, PitFit trains drivers all the way from grassroots level karting to IndyCar and NASCAR, with top-of-the-line personalized coaching to improve physical and cognitive fitness.
For more information on programs, check out PitFit on Instagram or Facebook today. DPK Americas is bridging the gap between the U.S. and the 2-time world champion DPK Alonso Kart factory team in Europe.
In partnership with Team Binnick, they offer drivers a complete career path from the Americas to Europe that allows them to continue their driver development on both sides of the world, all underneath the DPK umbrella.
For more information, contact DPK Americas at max@drivensm.com to take the next step in your driver development journey today.
Join us for the biggest kart racing convention of the year, the 39th OVKA Kart Racing Trade Show and Swap Meet, Saturday, February 1st, Robert Center, Wilmington, Ohio. Whether you're into sprint karting, dirt and oval racing, road racing, unlimiteds, or vintage karting, there are deals here for you. Shop our 60,000 square foot show floor, filled with the carts, parts, and supplies you need. Network with kart racers of all disciplines from across the country. Get insights from experts at our performance seminars. Visit our Intro to Kart Racing open house to get started in racing. Visit OVKA.com. Vendor registration is now open. OVKA.com.
Alrighty, welcome back here to Casey Grit Talk for episode number 40. We are at the eve of the Rotax. Sorry, I just completely blanked out there. We're at the eve of the Rotax Winter Trophy, where last year Diego Ramos was able to get the ticket to go over to Sarno. Yes, that's right. Yes, that is correct. Honestly, I actually have no idea where the grand finals is. That'd have to be a question for our very own Henry Bodette when we see him this weekend. Hey, we got Henry's coming back this weekend. I forgot about that. Great guy. I think he actually just sent us a text that he just landed. So welcome back to the States, Henry. Good to see you. No idea what's going on here.
Maverick McKenna in the comments because Emery put his Mahomes highlight video in the comments, and then Maverick McKenna says,
family.
"That's
Fair
really
enough.
funny. That's really
Fair
funny."
enough.
Okay,
Hey.
so Mr. Roberts says we're going to Bahrain this year. Proceed. Finish your Mahomes.
No,
theory.
that's just really funny. That's all.
Sorry. I was gonna say my apologies. This was for an 8th grade project, so very family friendly. Continue. We have actual go-karts to talk about.
Hold on. No way you were making Patrick Mahomes highlights in 8th grade, bro.
Dedicated.
Gosh.
I knew
Bang.
I could see the future.
All right, well, we're going out to Bahrain this year for the Rotax Winter Trophy. Getting back on topic here. That's honestly
It's a delayed laugh.
Yeah. No idea. Well, we're going back to Bahrain, which seemed like it was a really good track 2 years ago whenever they went there. And exciting stuff this weekend, boys. I don't know if you guys have taken a look at the entry list. I have. The Barrichellos are back this weekend.
Mhm.
Diego Ramos, who's always good at Orlando, especially on the Rotax package. That was the last win that he had. I think the only win that he's had with the PSL karting boys. The reigning champion. He went out there and raced for Brazil. And Emery, you actually in our private chat, you asked if it was a Team USA specific thing. I don't think it is. And I could stand corrected here if anybody has better information.
I don't.
Obviously, feel free. But yeah, last year, Diego, I think, won the ticket and then raced for Brazil. So I could stand corrected here. We will see, but honestly, it's going to be an exciting event. Rotax here, always some good racing. I believe one of the rounds was up for contender for race of the year. So I'm excited. I don't know who you guys think is going to be strong here this weekend. Norberg's obviously not racing at his home track, but a couple of other guys are. So I guess who you guys kind of keeping your eyes out for? What are you guys kind of looking forward to for this weekend?
Brandon Carr. I'm just gonna say it. I think first of all, if weather stays as it's been in Orlando, I haven't had a chance to really check the radar. I know in Daytona it's gonna be kind of a okay day, cloudy. So, and we know how Florida is. It can say sun, it's gonna rain. It can say rain, it's gonna be sunshine. So we don't know. But if the weather stays as is, I don't think there's many better drivers in damp or wet weather conditions than Brandon Carr. So I'm going to rely on weather. And even if it's dry, I think Brandon Carr has a chance. Ramos, obviously, you can't bet against Diego Ramos. He's coming off a win last year. His only senior win on board the PSL package. So let's see if he can double up this year and get a second one. I think he's got a real good shot.
Emery?
So a couple weeks ago, I made a pick on Emery's Corner. I said, watch out for Aiden Ingrata. Aiden Ingrata did not race that weekend. Great pick on my part. But Aiden Ingrata is racing Rotax. If I got that wrong, then I'm quitting this job forever.
No, he is racing.
Yeah. And so I think for all the reasons I listed 2 weeks ago, Ingrata, this is one of his best tracks. He won the second weekend last year of the Winter Trophy. He was really good in X30 here 2 years ago. Set on the pole at USPKS, won 2 of the 3 heats. Looked really good. I think that Aiden Ingrata, this is his type of weekend. He's been in the kart testing with RPG quite a bit over the recent weeks. I think that this is his time to shine. Diego is certainly one to look out for. I think the Barrichellos will be good. I think we're going to see Brandon Carr be really good as well. It's a deep field, I'm pretty sure. But at the end of the day, I got to rock with Aiden Ingrata. I feel like he was really quick last year. I think this year, with a little bit more testing coming in, he'll be very tough to beat.
Caleb is
I think everybody in here forgot Oliver Hodgson was racing.
yeah.
So
I don't. First of all, I didn't want to say every single name, so I was like, I'm just gonna say the two. I'll let the boys have some. I haven't had a chance to see like the finalized entry list. Is Garrison racing?
I can pull it up right now.
Because if he is, then that's another one for sure.
Garrison as well will be good. Let me actually pull up the. Here we go. I'm pulling
He's
this
not.
up. He's
All right,
not
well,
racing.
we'll get
racing.
intel from Aiden and Grata, but Aiden and Grata is racing.
Yeah.
So
My job is safe for another week.
and yeah, I think I wasn't gonna say Ingrata because I knew Emery was gonna have it, and I'm like I'm not gonna take his guy. Because I think you and I both picked Ingrata last week or 2 weeks ago, and then he didn't race. But this weekend, Ingrata's racing, will be fast. I think, like Caleb said, it's a stacked to deep field. Or Emery, you mentioned that as well. So I'm gonna be tuned in. I'll be at Daytona, but I'm gonna be watching my phone. And I don't know. I think in most classes it looks to be pretty good. And obviously it's always cool to have the Barrichellos in town.
Yeah. So Dudu Barrichello is racing, obviously, but there's also a couple of the Canadians I think that is interesting because they run that package a lot in Canada.
Mhm.
So these guys are have really good experience with all that stuff. I think the Canadians are going to be ones to look out for. Lucas Nanji up there. I'm not sure if he was able to get the ticket last year or
Well,
who was able to
first
get
of
it.
all, we got to get Lucas a new pair
Is-
of glasses.
Yeah.
All right.
was
I
gonna
did
say.
see that pre-show. I did see
For
that.
those of you confused, pre-show, Brandon Carr joins and he's staying at a place with Lucas Nanji. And I don't know how it happened, but he broke his glasses. and he says, "Well, this will make this weekend harder." So somebody needs to get Lucas Nanji a pair of glasses for this weekend. All right, we need to make it happen. We can't have Lucas driving without glasses.
All right, a couple of other breaking news I'm just now seeing. Didn't see this before. Cade McQueen is racing this weekend. Looks to be with the Energy Boys. Diego Ramos obviously racing. A couple of other ones. Aiden Fox we're seeing make his return here to stateside karting. Only been stateside, but I believe former
20
Indy Grand Prix winner going to make his return this weekend. So look out for Aiden Fox.
Shout out Purdue.
2024 Purdue Grand Prix champion. Aiden
There you
Fox.
go. There you go. Laurent Legault making his return, I believe, for RPG this weekend. I'm trying to see a couple of the other names here. I thought I saw Frederick Lemieux.
Yeah.
She's going to make her return this weekend. She was pretty good, I believe, at you guys were actually announcing
The West Trophy.
whenever she was
Very
out there
good.
in the West. So, but another driver to watch. So we'll see. We'll see. I'm excited. I think it's going to be a good one. Kai Hunter making his return. He's actually a regular out in the UK over at Kart Masters Racing on the Rotax side of things. I'm going to change my pick. I'm going Kai Hunter to take it for rounds 1 and 2. We'll talk, I guess, at the end of the weekend. But we're excited. I'm excited. I know Henry's definitely excited. He's going to be back with us this weekend. I would say I did call Brandon our favorite Brit, but I would have to say Henry probably takes the cake here with this one. So we're excited to have Henry back. We're excited to be back at a go-kart track. It seems kind of odd that we haven't been there in about a week and a half, a little more than that. Maybe feels like 2 weeks, honestly, now. But we're excited to be back from us, fellas. We got a lot of work to do tonight. So I guess we'll get on that, get ready. And for those of you sitting at home, we'll see you this weekend. We're live Saturday and Sunday. The schedule is posted on our Instagram and our Facebook, so make sure to take a look at that. We're just right around the corner from the regular season to get started, but a lot more preseason racing to get going. Rotax 1 and 2, 3 and 4 this weekend and next weekend. And then the weekend after that, we're back at the SCUSA Winter Series. And then I can't tell you where we go from there. I think we're right at Texas for about a month. But yeah, we're gonna have a good weekend, fellas. I'm gonna miss you guys. Well, Alex, I'll see you, but it won't be the same. But I'll see you. Emery, enjoy the snow up in North Carolina. It's great having you here tonight, and great having you all as well here tonight again. We'll we'll be back on Saturday. I'll be back at least, and then we'll be back next week, hopefully on a Tuesday with a little bit of a different format, maybe a little bit of a different look as well. Still finalizing everything. We're excited. I'm excited. These guys are excited, but I think that's it, fellas. I think that's it. You guys ready to catch some Z's or what? Y'all look a little tired.
It's
time
over.
It's time to get to work.
It's Jover. It's time to get to work.
Job's not finished.
Hey, job's not finished. We'll be here for a minute. But from all of us here at KC Grit Talk, we thank you for joining us tonight. I'll see you this weekend. These boys will see you next week. And we appreciate you joining us. We'll see you here bright and early next week at some point.